This is a still life. A still life is when an artist sets up a group of objects that will sit still so they can focus on making beautiful art with those objects. Sometimes when we look at a still life, we can tell some things about the artist who made them. This is by an African-American artist named Robert Selden Duncanson, painted in 1848. He was one of the first African-American artists to get really famous all over Europe too. I quite like the colors and all of the round objects he picked for this simple still life. This is a different still life that looks similar at first, but what do you notice when you look really closely? What time period do you think that painting is from? How can you tell? This is another still life. Even though it's a different style, we can still look at the objects and make some guesses about the artist. How old do you think this artist is? What makes you think that? This is a very recent still life. Photographer Maggie Shannon said, "I collected things around the house that my husband and I have been using daily. A crossword puzzle he completed, the orange I zested for a birthday cake I had baked and left on a friend's porch, hand soap, and watercolors I've been using to keep myself distracted. A few little objects and references that have been keeping our moods up during this crazy time." I challenge you to create a still life in your house, drawing things that you have, and show us a little bit about yourself. The super fun part of setting up a still life is picking out your objects. Find some things around your house that you like and begin to set up something tall, something medium, and something small. One thing can go in front of another. You can add more objects or keep fewer objects. One tip is to use 3 or 5 objects and look from different angles to see what you like. You're going to take your time drawing your still life. Here I do have an iPad to help, but you don't need that front. I start with the front object, which is the fox, and I'm using a marker, but if you want to try a pencil, that might be easier. Then I do the object behind that one. Here it's the medium-sized instrument in the middle ground. And then the last thing I draw is the tall object in the background, so that things look like they're overlapping. Not bad, but I'm going to practice more. I decided practice makes perfect, and I wanted to get more comfortable at a table and chair. There I am deciding what the placement is for the objects in my picture. I can hold my pencil and see that some things come halfway up the picture, so I put them halfway up on my paper. And I'm just working quickly with a pencil to get the basic overall outline or contour of my objects on my paper, starting in front and then tucking the other objects in the back. Here, I'm pointing to the fact that that plant pot will be just up a little bit from the edge of the instrument. I've been doing still lifes a long time, and I still think it is a challenge. It's just such good practice for our artist minds. But you don't have to do too much erasing. It's good to start with your objects in front. But here I was able to erase a little bit and then work some more on that fox figure. When you choose the objects for your landscape, I want you to choose objects that are important to you right now, or at least show us a little glimpse into your life. After all of my light sketching, if you want to, you can go back in pressing harder with a pencil or using a marker on top to make your art look more finished. And then your last choice you can make is, do you want to add color? It could be the realistic color or not realistic color. You can use watercolor or colored pencils, crayons, whatever you have on hand to add some colors if you want to. Have fun setting up and practicing drawing a still life.